Washington, D.C. has long had a reputation for being rife with sex scandals, but this year they seem to be rivaling Hollywood with their dedication to sullying the reputation of almost every office in the city with some sordid affair. The question now becomes, which of these scandals are real, and which are political ploys to change election results? If someone knew the definitive answer to that question, they could clear a whole lot of problems up in Washington today, and possibly out quite a few liars in the process. But until we know for sure, the only thing we can do is try and sort out who is telling the truth by reputation. In the case of Republican Roy Moore, the accusers all seem to have carefully crafted stories, but are they true? One accuser is Tina Johnson from Alabama. Her accusation, as told in a video to CNN and reported by Breitbart News, includes a visit to Moore's office that ended with him groping her from behind as she was leaving his office, sometime between when her mother left the room and when she left the room. Part of the curiousness of that story is that Moore wasn't her attorney, he was her mother's. He had been employed to try and secure custody of Johnson's son because Johnson was herself accused of being mentally unstable and even committing fraud against a family member. The story as best we can decipher it is that she and her mother were at Moore's office in order for her sign over custody of her son to her mother when for some reason her mother left the room and Johnson stayed. Even though Moore wasn't Johnson's attorney, he was her mother's. According to Moore and his receptionist, who was just feet away, this story is completely fabricated, but Johnson is sticking to it. However, the story that her court records tell is one of a deeply disturbed individual who wasn't even fit to take care of her own child and who was willing to steal from her family. Here's more from our source about the details of the encounter. Birmingham, Alabama, court documents related to Tina Johnson, an Alabama woman who claims that Republican senatorial candidate Roy Moore groped her in his office decades ago, may raise questions about Johnson's motives in making the accusation. The documents, reviewed by Breitbart News, show that Moore represented Johnson's mother in a nasty custody case for Johnson's then 12-year-old son, Daniel Sitz. In the case, Johnson was repeatedly painted by Moore's client as an unfit, absent, and unstable mother and was accused of taking her son from his elementary school against his will. Johnson's mother was ultimately awarded custody in the case. One affidavit signed by Johnson's mother while she was represented by Moore accused Johnson of having a violent nature and noted that she has been treated by a psychiatrist when she was approximately 15 years of age. Johnson was a teenage mother. Separate criminal documents show that, as late as 2010, Johnson was arrested and pled guilty to felony fraud charges related to checks belonging to a family member. She also entered a court drug program. Speaking to Al.com, Johnson first went public with the claim that Moore groped her when she was on legal business with her mother in 1991. The website noted that Johnson reached out to Al.com to discuss her alleged experience with Moore. The website related that Johnson was at the office to sign over custody of her 12-year-old son to her mother, with whom he'd been living. Johnson claimed that, after the two met with Moore, her mother walked out of the office door first and that, as Johnson was walking out, Moore grabbed her buttocks from behind. He didn't pinch it. He grabbed it, she claims. Johnson claims that she was so surprised by Moore's alleged actions that she didn't mention anything to her mother, even though Johnson described her mother as sitting next to her in Moore's office just before the alleged incident. Johnson's mother, Mary Catherine Cofield, had hired Moore, then a private attorney, to represent her in the custody case for Johnson's son, Daniel Sitz. The custody documents, filed by Moore, refer to Johnson by her married name at the time, Tina Sitz. Another document, signed by Moore, stated that Cofield, and not Johnson, was the most fit and proper person to have custody of Daniel Sitz. Johnson's son had resided with his grandmother, Cofield, since he was 9 months old. Cofield says that, during those years, she provided Daniel with food, clothing, and shelter without any assistance from Johnson. A judge officially granted Caulfield full custody on September 23, 1991. Criminal and court records reviewed by Breitbart News find that she was arrested on February 25, 2010, for the felony charge of criminal possession of a forged instrument and theft by deception. She spent 1 day in gaol and was released on bond. The case revolved around the charges of intent to defraud, possess or utter checks in the amounts of $288, $129.96, $259.92, $300, and $170 respectively. She was also charged with obtaining or exerting unauthorized control over 5 checks for $25 each with intent to deprive the owner of said property. Those 5 checks were in the name of W.G. Caulfield, ostensibly her late stepfather. Caulfield personally appeared to file charges against Johnson, criminal records show. Last week, Breitbart News interviewed Deborah Adams, Moore's former longtime secretary and judicial assistant. Adams said that, in her 13 years of working for Moore, she never saw or experienced any inappropriate conduct toward women. Adams worked for Moore in 1991 at the time of Johnson's accusations. Adams's desk was right outside his office door at the time. Adams' name was signed as a notary on one of the custody documents filed in Johnson's case on behalf of Johnson's mother, Caulfield. If you'd like to see the whole gut-wrenching interview that Johnson did with CNN, giving her recount of the events, you can see that here. You'll notice that she omitted the reason she was at Moore's office, and the little issue of fraud charges, h/t. Breitbart News. Follow us on Facebook at Freedom Daily.